Hello and welcome to Channel's Book Club. Happy New Year. It's great to be back on the show this new year, and I hope you had a wonderful time. You know, I've always said New Year, Christmas period is always the best. Meeting with families and friends, just getting together, eating, drinking, dancing. It's just a special time of the year, and I hope yours has indeed been very special. Channel's Book Club, we talk all things books on the show, and this is the beginning of a new year, and we are ready to give it a go. Today on the show, our very first guest for 2024 is Yemi Edun, who is the founder and the CEO of Daniel Ford International. He's a property development expert and is a philanthropist, and of course, my favorite title in the world. He's an author, and he's written a new book that you absolutely have to pay attention to because it is such an important work. Imagine the story of the Nigeria High Commission in the United Kingdom told in one book, the history and the story of the Nigeria High Commission told in one book. That's what he has done, and that's why I think it's a very, very important work. He's our first guest on the show, Channel's Book Club 2024. We're happy to have him on the show, and then we'll be discussing a few things, plus, of course, the most important one, the number one mission as Yemi's new book. Welcome to Channel's Book Club, Yemi.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Great to have you here.
It's a pleasure.
Is it the rocking, the dancing, the eating that's affected your voice a little bit now?
Maybe, maybe.
I hope you had fun.
Absolutely.
Great. It's great to have you here. And well done. I like that.
Thank you.
What's the story?
That's my figurine.
Your signature.
Absolutely. Yemi without a hat is not Yemi.
Fantastic. Well done. The United Kingdom, Nigeria was very tough last year economically. Quite a number of other places all over the world experienced some form of economic hardship or another. Was it that much in the United Kingdom?
Absolutely. The whole world is in turmoil economically, and no country is isolated. Yeah, it's been a tough period. We've barely avoided recession every quarter of 2023. It's been tough since Brexit, Russia, Ukraine, interest rates at a record high for homeowners. So it's been a tough year. But
Let me bring you down to, what excites us the most on this show. For you personally, 2023, how much of reading were you able to do? Do you read a lot generally, or I meet different people who have succeeded in their businesses or their careers and all that. It's not everybody that reads a lot, and I tell young people that, look, just do what's comfortable with you and learn in whatever way that you can. Okay, so some young guy is listening to me out there, and I'm speaking to my friend Yemi here. What's it like for you reading?
I'll go one or two steps backwards. Growing up in Lagos, I used to read a book a day.
Wow.
I was so addicted to reading that I go to the UTC then on Edun.
The old UTC.
Then I read, and I know the page, go back the next day to read.
Continue.
Yeah, Then in school, you share books. Each book, probably in Nigeria, would go around maybe 100, 200 people, Things have changed. I believe most people read equivalent of a book or two a week through WhatsApp forwards.
That's a good one.
So the culture of actually holding a book does not distance the fact that people are still reading. I think people are actually reading more now.
It's just the format and the way they are reading.
Yeah, and they've gotten lazy. They want extracts.
They want to fast up, and they want to read quickly, and
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Reading is not dead, but I think it's undergoing a transition. We also have audiobook. I have tried that. It hasn't worked for me. So I'm still the traditional.
Very old-fashioned.
Absolutely. And, we must, I'm now talking as an author, we must make it attractive to the reader as well. And that's what we've been able to do here. The fonts are large.
Yeah.
We made it readable. And that's some of the feedback but it's intentional.
The way you've done this. It's actually easy to hold, easy to read. It's colorful. The text is easy on the eyes for people like myself who struggle without, this. So well done. Okay, the number one mission. Can you summarize this? Viewers are curious, I'm pretty sure. Can you summarize this book? What inspired it?
What inspires is the fact that, funny enough, I have 3 books on the burner. And if you had asked me 3 years ago to make a list of 100 potential subjects I would want to write about, this definitely would not be there. Mm-hmm. In my time in the UK, I've had cause to experience 6 high commissioners. And Nigeria has had 14 high commissioners to date.
Overall?
Overall.
From 1960? To
date. So we've had 14, I've experienced 6. But I've not really had access to the previous one. So I got to meet the current one. The last one is being recalled now. And we struck it. And he sought my advice on some of the ways to interact and, engage the Nigerians in diaspora. And I realized that what the discussions we had were being executed and it was working. So I always take notes. I started taking notes. And I was learning, So I looked at, this is interesting. The
whole process, the whole experience.
Absolutely. Because people tend to look at embassies from the view of passports and visas. But there's a lot more.
That they do.
They do. So the tipping point for me was when he had to hand over his letter of credence to the Queen. And he included me in the committee.
Oh, wow.
I realized that there's more to this thing.
Letter of credence. What does that mean?
When an ambassador is appointed to a country, you have to formally meet the president of that country and hand over your letter that I have arrived. I'm representing my country. In the UK, you meet the Queen, and as we are today, the King.
The King.
So, that's what
you call that letter is a letter of credence.
But it's very, very traditional and cultural. The Nigerian ambassador or high commissioner is rated higher than the US ambassador by the palace.
Really?
Because the chariot is drawn by 6 horses as against 4 by the US ambassador because of our Commonwealth.
Oh.
So Commonwealth makes you a blood relation. And the others are friends.
Wow.
And they say blood is thicker.
Thicker than whatever else.
So on the day, the Queen sent a Bentley Mulsanne, which the FGN one was affixed on the day. Then the 6 horse-drawn chariot has a particular route to make it to the palace. So I started documenting. It was getting more interesting, The title.
The number one mission.
So that title is not speaking about the High Commission being Nigeria's number one mission. It is Nigeria's number one mission. But actually, London is the number one mission for most countries
in the world. Because of London's strategic position.
Absolutely. And there are very few countries that put you on the spotlight. So the outgoing High Commissioner probably saw former President Buhari more than many ministers in Nigeria.
Really?
Yeah, because London is a regular.
Okay, because the former president spent a lot of months in London.
Yes. So London is, I even call London Nigeria's 37th state, because you are in the spotlights. It is London and others. Then in my research, I realized it's the same with the Canadians. It's the same with the Australians, to the extent that the former Prime Minister of Canada was appointed a High Commissioner in London.
Really? A former Prime Minister?
Yes. So it is the number one mission in general, but for Nigeria, it is
the
in particular.
So that's the story behind the name.
Absolutely.
This is loaded, Yemi. Loaded. So another thing you wrote here is differentiating between the High Commission and Embassy. You explained in this book why the Nigerian High Commission in the United Kingdom is not called the Nigerian Embassy.
Yes.
And the Nigerian High Commissioner is not called Ambassador. You explained that in this book, which I found very interesting. And I will like you to talk about that a little bit so that, viewers can have an idea of, the kinds of things they will find in this book.
It goes back to the Commonwealth. So being a member of the Commonwealth gives you some special status. So countries of the Commonwealth, their representative is known as the High Commissioner. So High Commissioner of Nigeria to United Kingdom. Meanwhile, the Togolese representative would be addressed as the ambassador of Togo to the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So there are some special events that Nigeria and the members of the Commonwealth will get first call. So coronation, there's so many events that, the Commonwealth, we shouldn't just assume that everybody knows what it's about. It's really countries that were colonized by Britain. Although it's been expanded now that they've been able to absorb other countries that were not in the Commonwealth. So countries like Rwanda, because it made sense for Rwanda to join the Commonwealth because they are surrounded by Commonwealth countries. So they are now a member of the Commonwealth.
So I'll take you back to that story because I find it very fascinating. So back in the days, you wrote here, the British used to call their own representatives in their colonies as high commissioners.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So the Commonwealth countries then adopted that. So
Absolutely.
we were a colony.
Yeah. So they now reversed it.
So we reversed it. Yes. So Commonwealth countries, when they send their own representatives to the United Kingdom,
yes,
then they then call them.
They are referred to as HC.
High Commissioners.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Another thing you did here was to tell the story of all the Nigerian High Commissioners from 1960. You put in here their profiles and their stories. Can you say something about that?
It's very interesting because, these guys, you don't post a dud to London. You must be someone of significance, a personality.
The best of the best.
Because you are showcasing your country in the biggest stage, really. So the first High Commissioner, I was very interested in him. Mr. Matthew Umbu, he is special. He's special because he still holds the record as the youngest minister Nigeria has ever had.
Wow.
Because he became minister before the age of 25. Before the age of 25. And he has a special record as well as the first Nigerian High Commission to the United Kingdom and the first Nigerian ambassador to the United States.
Really?
Oh. He also bought the building that is called Nigerian House in New York. He bought it for $25,000.
$5,000. So I like the summaries that you have here. The name, the commissioners, 04/11/1955 to 31/10/1958. Prime Minister served. You put there the Prime Minister that served in Nigeria, or the leader that served in Nigeria, Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Then you put here the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom at that time when they were serving. So in his own case, he served under Anthony Eden and Harold Macmillan. So you did this for every of them. Is there another one of the 14 that I like what you just said now about Tawumbu another one with an interesting story.
Anania, I like. Major General Anania. I like because, how I commet the man. He was Nigerian High Commissioner, and the Omaro kidnap
story
happened. Just imagine this relatively small country in the context of world politics, Nigeria, in 1984, audaciously kidnapped, because it wasn't an attempt, actually kidnapped a foreign national in the heart of London, in Bayswater, Porchester Terrace. Look, these are stuff you watch in movies.
Why has that not been turned into a movie?
Yeah, because people don't read history. I actually went back there, and it's so interesting.
Wow.
And what saved late Omaro was that his secretary, who works from his house, peeped through the window and saw them bundle our boss into the van and called the police, and there was a border alert, So it's very interesting. So I think I now had to read his book in researching this, and he said, look, I had to lie on behalf of my country.
Which book was that? He wrote the book.
He wrote the book. His book. I've forgotten the title now. So I had to read the book to understand. He felt really, really.
Or somebody wrote about him.
No, he wrote. He's still alive. He's still alive.
Okay, you're talking about the secretary?
No, I'm talking of Anatu.
Okay.
The High Commissioner.
I thought you meant Diku. I was wondering. Okay. Oh wow, fantastic! And of course, there was Brigadier Baba Femi
Ogundipe. Historians will know that name because I believe he was the highest-ranking Nigerian military person when the first coup happened.
Yeah.
And he could have been the head of state.
Yeah.
He could have been him. He could have been Ironsi.
He declined or something like that.
So they say.
Right? So they say.
But historians will know Ogundipe.
This is really interesting.
So it shows you the caliber of people.
Yeah.
But we can now zero into the last High Commissioner who influenced this because
projects.
I was able to see so many things happen. He was only in London for 2 years, but he served 3 prime ministers.
3. So you are talking about, Ambassador Sharafa Tunji Ishola.
Yeah. So look, we had COVID.
He experienced COVID, yeah.
3 prime ministers.
Boris Johnson, Elizabeth Truss, and Rishi Sunak.
Absolutely. Now, the Queen that outlived 13 previous High Commissioners died, buried. Then the King was coronated.
Wow. Incredible. He's a special man. Oh, wow. Interesting. And there is this story here, and you put here the buildings, the various buildings. You said here that Nigeria has 22 buildings in the United Kingdom. We're talking about the Nigerian states, right? The Nigerian government.
Yes.
22.
Absolutely.
How come? I mean, why?
Yeah, the background is that before independence, we ran a regional system, and there was a lot of competition. The West had cocoa money. The East had coal, and we are very entrepreneurial. And I think there was a relationship with Britain. So the Western Union had a representative in London and bought that building, 9 Northumberland, for the Western Union.
That's the main Nigeria High Commission building.
Now, so when Nigeria became a republic in 1963, Nigeria adopted those buildings, yeah. So some of the properties are historical, but Nigeria has since bought further properties. So Abuja House, which is the residence of the High Commissioner now, was bought during the tenure of Alhaji Abubakar Alhaji in 1991. So we have properties. There is some that would strike a lot of Nigerians in their 60s with nostalgia. The property in Fleet Street. I think that's the next page.
Fleet Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, 57 Fleet Street.
So Fleet Street was where Nigerian students used to authenticate their admission, which would help their parents process the Form M or Form A or whatever it was in the CBN, so that they can get money at the what's it called now? At the official exchange rate. You know, so a lot of students know this place. When someone read this book, he said, you know what, Yemi, I actually met my wife in Fleet Street. You know, so if you now go to the next page, if for any reason you are not sorted with accommodation, Nigeria had Bayswater,
Inverness Terrace, Bayswater.
That was the hostel. And that's until anybody can come up with another information, that like the first Nigerian known restaurant in London in the basement of 2022 Inverness Terrace, because the students were being hosteled up. So the restaurant, nobody can remember the name. You know, they improvised and started selling Nigerian food.
Oh, wow.
You know, so Nigerians in the 70s will go there to have their meal, you know, and a lot of students were benefited from the hostel.
You see why it's important to write a book now? Property development expert has become a history a historian. Fantastic. Well done. I mean, this is just fascinating. I have not had any cause to I did go to this Nigeria High Commission, this Northumberland one, I think in 2016 or so, and took some photographs there. I think I met the High Commissioner then and all that. Okay.
The car.
The car. I was coming to the car, of course. Why will we ever not talk about this Rolls Royce? Tell me about this Rolls Royce. You said it's been there since 1959. 59.
Yes. It was bought by Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, and he was the first to ride in it. But the beauty of it is, these are positives for Nigeria. Nigeria still owns it and it still runs.
That Rolls Royce still runs?
Absolutely. We call it the Beast.
The Beast. Wow, so beautiful. So what's it used for now?
So when the new president is visiting the United Kingdom for the first time,
Nigerian president,
you know, that's the car that picks the president.
Wow.
And the High Commissioner that's just been appointed. So the position is vacant now. So whoever is taking up that position should look forward to a ride from the airport.
So will the president and the High Commissioner be in the vehicle at the same
Usually.
So the vehicle takes them to the
wherever they are going.
Okay. Not to the Nigeria House.
No, if the president is visiting for the first time, the president
has to go to.
No, he doesn't have to go to the Abuja House. He might be going to a hotel or if he has a home. But significantly, he needs to take a ride
in that
car,
which is still in top shape.
Absolutely.
Since 1959. Incredible. Wow. What a great work you've done here. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Well done. So where is this project leading to? Something interesting you told me, behind the camera, is that the proceeds of this book, you are using them to support charity.
Absolutely. We've been doing that through personal funds and friends supporting since 2020. But this would help push it further, you know, and most charities tend to run out of money when the organizers, you know, maybe they die or whatever. So I hope to build up institutional books like this that would help fund this type of philanthropic works. Last week, in December, we gave out 200 wheelchairs in Lagos and Abuja, you know, and these are the most needy in our environment. And we hope to do 1,000 every year going forward.
Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Well, I like the picture. I like the concept. I like the importance, you know, of the book. It holds so much in terms of history. Well done, and thank you very much for joining us on Channels Book Club, Yemi.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you here. I hope you've had a good time with us on the show today. This is where we have to draw curtains, as usual. We'll be excited to get your feedback through any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. My name is Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.